Riding on the open road, whether in a sportive or on your own, isn't without risks. But if you're alert to the hazards and how to deal with them, you can minimise those risks dramatically.
Some hazards are plainly obvious, but you'll be surprised how many riders are not aware. Don't be one of them and ride smart. These are very common and essentially part of the fabric of our roads, like it or not. The best way to negotiate these is by avoiding them in the first place. And to do this, you simply need to look ahead, scanning the road as you go, giving you time to assess and to be able to take a considered line without the need to swerve violently and dangerously. Ride smart and always look over your right shoulder for traffic before signalling and manoeuvring around a hazard. Also, ensure you point and call out hazards to riders that may be behind you. These can really catch you out if not ridden with respect, and the best way to approach them is at a reasonable speed. Pick up your speed to the point you have enough momentum to freewheel over the grid, whilst at the same time raising yourself slightly off the saddle and keeping your cranks level, letting your legs and arms absorb some of the shock. Also hit the grid at 90 degrees, never at an angle, as you may slip. If you hit a cattle grid too slowly, there's a risk you may actually come to a total stop, which could be awkward and dangerous. Don't feel you have to ride out of your comfort zone. Simply dismount and walk around. Other hazards aren't so obvious, especially if you're new to the sport. These are often the ones that can catch you off guard and by surprise. These can be extremely slippery, especially in the wet. If you're riding on wet roads, try and stay clear of riding on or along painted lines, as they offer very little traction at all. Try and keep the bike as upright as possible when riding across painted lines, particularly in built-up areas where there are lots of road markings. Keeping the bike vertical will maximise traction, but even a moderate tilt or lean on wet lines could result in a fall. We can't stress the importance of this enough. By being alert and aware, you're being ride smart.
Wet or dry, these pose a real hazard, as they're domed or slightly squared off and will throw you offline if you hit them off centre. Now avoid them at all costs, especially when cornering, because if you hit them when the bike's at an angle, they'll significantly increase the risk of losing control. This isn't about not wanting to get your backside or your feet wet. By riding blind into a puddle, you're actually taking a risk, because hidden from view could be a deep pothole or other object that at best could puncture your tyre or ruin your wheel, and at worst could completely throw you off your bike altogether.
So ride smart by riding around puddles if it's safe to do so.
And don't forget that glance rearward before you manoeuvre.
Ensure that you always ride to the left-hand side of the road and never cross the white lines. Even on smaller roads without road markings, ensure that you ride smart and keep over to the left.